We all love it, and we all hate it. Maybe we love to hate it. It is just kind of addicting, and they know about it. Competition shows are as entertaining as they are infuriating. We could see it from the positive view. It is a good opportunity for some of the participants. It does bring attention to them, and could even promote them to immediate stardom. Also, K-pop is not the only industry where competition shows are big. They have existed since forever. And as much as there are positives, there are also many negatives. Many negatives. But it seems we will keep on watching them. So how about we check the problems with K-pop competition shows? And also, don't forget to like and subscribe for more. For the following points, I will be talking about K-pop competition shows in general. Some of these points may apply more to one show produced than others, but they still apply. Anyway, the first point we have to talk about is the term we already associate with all competition shows in K-pop, especially the ones produced by a certain company that starts with M, the evil editing. We understand that at the end of the day, these shows are looking to grasp the attention of the viewers, and there is no better way than to have shocking or dramatic scenes. However, it is still controversial the way some of these shows have edited the content and changed completely the original intention, and focus only on the provoking shows that many times are totally made up. The problem is that the whole plot they create requires for a good and a bad protagonist, or a villain, and being on the latter can mean that the public turn against you. And that is not good. Of course, nowadays the public is more aware of these edits, and they can even get the positive effect like with Shinbi and Vivi's in Queendom 2, where they were the most mentioned group in news articles and the public reaction has been good so far. Nonetheless, for this one example, there are many others where things didn't go well. The reality is that all of this shows us that the producers have way too much power about the future of certain participants. They choose who to show and not to show at all. In the produced series, there was always a complaint that some participants didn't appear much in the program, and therefore they obviously didn't have many votes. Or that once the favorites were decided, the show focused way too much on them, keeping all the other participants aside. It is an unfair treatment, but it has now become common. The producers could say to be following the interest of the audience, and it is part of commercialism after all. Another complaint from fans and viewers is that the shows tend to introduce and put a lot of emphasis on hierarchies, whether it is that a certain group or participant belongs to a bigger or more recognized company, or whether it is that they rank them in the show and give them grades. However, I believe that competition shows also tend to reflect Korean society. Korea is known for being a country where competition is everywhere, and only the best that are willing to sacrifice a lot are the ones that make it. They are classified in school, in work, even between neighbors and friends. It should have been expected that this environment will be reproduced so blatantly in K-pop competition shows. To some extent, it is cruel to classify a person, and many times this classification occurs even before showing their abilities. Just like with all the attention certain participants get by their looks instead of other characteristics. And that is our next point. Fans and viewers claim that competition shows give more attention to visuals. On Idol School, for example, the lemma and the introduction song refer to finding the prettiest girl. They were pretty much announcing that the competition wasn't about their talent. In produced series or other shows that follow this concept, there is always a visual category or segment dedicated to pointing out the visuals. Nevertheless, the main problem with this is not only about the special attention they give to visuals, but the fact that these participants are defined by this characteristic, and only this characteristic. In some shows, it can work very well for them, but in others, it can become a burden. For example, in a Street Woman Fighter, Noche's main description was about her visuals, and other participants immediately thought less of her abilities, just for being mainly described as pretty. This show is not exactly K-pop related, but the argument still stands. I actually have talked before about the problems of being a visual. You can see this video if you want to know more. This also takes me to another point that I have discussed before, but it definitely applies to competition shows, and it should be mentioned: the objectification of the participants, and, unfortunately, for some shows, this also becomes sexualization of young idols or trainees. Although the shows were originally created to provide entertainment and an opportunity for media exposure, it has soon become a show where the idols or trainees are commercialized as entertainment products. And then, there is a produced series whose main producer conceived the whole project with very objectified intentions. If you want to know more about this topic, you can check this video. In any case, All the points mentioned before make the perfect combination for the participants to be seen more as products than people. This is also why they are condemned or hated more fervently whenever they make a mistake in the show. They are not seen as humans that can make mistakes. They are products that do not adhere to what the audience expects. Really, it can be just simple actions or comments, and in many times distorted by the evil editing, and now suddenly the public is against that participant. And now to one of the most important points in this list, the money. Of course, money will have to be a factor in an industry where idols or trainees are more seen as products than people. In reality, it seems competition shows are creating their own market and business models, and it is not favorable to many of the parties involved. Singing competition shows are nothing new in Korea, but what has changed in the last years is the contracts these participants are given. Initially, it was only one company that signed a specific participant, but with shows like Produce and The Unit, television networks are also acquiring rights over the profits made by the participants. The group that is created by these shows divides their income between the television network, whatever number of music companies involved, and at the end, between the members. According to Yonhap, for the Produce series, the company that owns Mnet gets 25% of the profits from the activities of the groups created in the show. Another 25% goes to the company that manages the band activities, and the remainder is split between the companies where the participants originally belonged to. If this is true, it means that already 50% of the money stays with other companies, other than the normal K-pop company. And we thought that normal K-pop contracts were terrible. This just takes it to a new level. These idols still have the original K-pop contract with their companies, where they owe their training expenses, and where in activities they get about 30% or less. And for sales, like album sales or merchandise, it is estimated that it is about 10%. And all of this over the already cut 50%. For the Produce series, it is estimated that the participants share around 20% of the total earnings, so about 2% of each individual. I would say that members of these groups created by competition shows are probably earning less than other idol groups with similar or a bit less fame. For the Produce series, we can even know more or less the amount because there were estimations of the possible compensations the real winners of the competition could get, and the number wasn't that high considering these groups, like 101 and Ice One, were really big at the time. The said estimated revenue is, according to the lawyers, around 350 million won, or more or less $313,000 per victim. And yeah, I'm not forgetting this brings me to the last point. These shows are rigged. There is way too much proof, a lost case in the court and a producer in jail, so there is no way to deny it. And in truth, even if the television network says otherwise, I don't think we will ever be able to really trust them again. And of course, that doesn't mean we will stop watching. Well, for some it could, but there will still be many other viewers in the future. Hope you liked the video and don't forget to like and subscribe for more.